Welcome to Car Sales Talk 101, where it's all about life in the car business. Telling you like it is. Here's the man with the plan, Terry Cameron. Let's get started.
Welcome back to Car Sales Talk 101. I'm Terry Cameron. Thanks for visiting with me once again. Now, I know it's been a while, probably about 2.5 months since our last episode, which was episode 200. And honestly, I planned on that being the final episode of our show. However, I received several emails and phone calls and text messages, Facebook messages about certain subjects people would like me to cover. And even though I was ready to call it quits, I had enough people asking me to keep doing this, so I am going to try to bring it back. And this is episode 201. Houston, we have a problem. The title of this episode is Commission Control. A lot of the emails that I've been receiving have been from salespeople, both brand new in the car business and some that have been in for several years, asking me about pay plans. Since COVID, and I guess the chip shortage, things have really changed in the car business. And if you've been in the business for that same amount of time, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. The grosses are not near what they used to be, especially on used cars, because we have to pay so much money to get that used car, either from an auction off the street or from a customer's trade-in. And even then, after we pay top dollar for that, we have reconditioning. We're getting pickier and pickier, or at least our customers are getting pickier and pickier on the vehicles that they want. You all know what I'm talking about. The customer that comes on the lot that wants that $10,000 car, but what they really want is that $15,000 car for $10,000. Those days are gone. I try to explain that as much as I can to both customers and future and current salespeople. The days are gone of having all this markup and negotiations to get prices down. They're just gone, especially when they come into your dealership, into our dealership, off of an internet site, Car Gurus, Cars.com, whatever it is, TrueCar, or even your website. We have got to be competitive whenever we put a price out there for everyone to see. Think about it. If we put the highest price out there for everyone to see, why would they come to our dealership to purchase that car? Now, we don't necessarily have to be the cheapest either, but we've got to be in the top somewhere. I like to say we're in the top 4 or 5, depending upon the market availability and just how far out it is before a customer has to go to find one just like the one they're looking at. So it's tough. New cars? I don't know. It's kind of strange. You would think that it'd be tough to make money. Prior to all this mess with the chip shortage, it was crazy. I remember back in the day selling a $25,000 car that had about $3,500 in markup from invoice to retail. Not to mention another $2,500 to $3,000 in rebates. So there was tons and tons of money to use to close a customer without giving everything up and giving you a chance for a decent commission. Nowadays, I see a $25,000, $30,000 car, $35,000, $40,000 car, and we've got about $800 or $900 in markup. It's kind of hard to make a living if you're getting paid commission on $800 or $900 per car. Unless, of course, you're selling 35, 40 cars a month. And I know there's a few of you out there listening that do that, but for the most part, the average salesperson is still selling anywhere between 12 and 15 cars a month. So we got to figure out a way to make money. And what I meant earlier is when I titled this Commission Control is because I've seen pay plans that were designed just for that, to control the commissions. For example, the major one is pack. Now, I don't want to get too much into this, but packing cars, it's just a dealer adding profit immediately to that car whenever it's stocked in. For example, you buy the car for $12,000. We pack it for $2,000, so now we own it for $14,000. Well, that $2,000 is pure profit, but it's also non-commissionable gross. So instead of changing somebody's commission structure from 25% to 20%, all the dealer or general manager does is increase the pack, which decreases the commissionable amount of gross. There's really nothing wrong with that as long as that dealer is compensating the salespeople and management other ways. So people are asking me about pay plans. Number one, my most favorite pay plan is 100% commission. After 10 years in the military and watching people with the same pay grade as me, but working half as many hours and not nearly as hard as me, but they're still getting paid the same amount of money, absolutely drove me crazy. So when I met the dealer of the dealership that I'm working at now back in 1989 on a racquetball court, and he mentioned commissions and how much I could make if I was just average, I was all in because that's what I wanted. I wanted a job that paid me for what I did. The harder I work, the harder I got paid. And I did. He said if you're at least average, he could probably guarantee me about $30,000 a year. Well, that's about $12,000 more a year than I made after 10 years in the military. Excuse me. So I went to work for him. And because I really was above average, my first year I made $48,000. Now, I'm not in the car sales Hall of Fame, but in 1990, my first full year, making $48,000 was more than double what I was making for Uncle Sam. And I enjoyed it. Needless to say, I was hooked. And I've never made less money than I did the year before since I've been in the car business. At least not as a salesperson and not on commission. So my number one thing is find a dealership that's going to pay you commission, but make sure there's enough gross to where commission is worth it. I have to tell you that the average commission that dealers pay is 25%. There are some other that pay a little bit less for like high-end vehicles, Porsche, things like that have lots of markup in, and they just pay less percentage, but still have the opportunity to make a lot of money. Right after this break, we're going to talk about some other methods of pay plans. The big topic at NADA this year was how to get more website lead conversions from all your monthly Google traffic. Well, the answer is Trust Videos, produced by MDR Television. Trust Videos help establish a personal connection with website visitors by allowing them to get to know the people behind the dealership, their backgrounds, and their passion for the car business. By showcasing the dealership's unique selling proposition through Trust Videos, website visitors are more likely to trust and feel confident in the dealership, leading to increased lead conversions. Trust Videos provide a memorable and engaging experience for website visitors, which can lead to increased brand awareness and loyalty, as well as positive word-of-mouth marketing. Trust Videos can be optimized for search engines, increasing the chances of website visitors finding the dealership through relevant search queries and ultimately driving more traffic to the website. By incorporating Trust Videos into their marketing strategy, car dealerships can differentiate themselves from competitors and create a stronger brand identity, leading to increased customer retention and repeat business. Trust Videos can easily be shared on social media, allowing dealerships to reach a wider audience and potentially generate even more leads from their existing Google traffic. By utilizing Trust Videos, car dealerships can provide a more transparent and authentic experience for website visitors, building trust and credibility with potential customers and ultimately leading to more sales. I've personally witnessed the effectiveness of Trust Videos, and if you're interested in finding out more, just reach out to me at 10-minute sales talk at hot.rr.com. Tell them Terry sent you. Okay, welcome back. The next method of pay plans, and I think is probably the worst pay plan, is salary. And that's unless, of course, that salary is awesome. The average college graduate with a 4-year degree makes about $45,000 to $50,000 a year. I guess that's a good living, depending upon where you live. But I don't know any car dealership that is paying $40,000 $50,000 in salary. Now, if you're comfortable with about a $3,000 salary or whatever that dealership is offering you, then by all means, go for it. But that is limiting you. The sky is the limit in this business. And if you're going to choose salary, then you're never going to make those six figures that I talk about in previous episodes. Make sure you're okay with that salary. And let me tell you what salary really does. It's for the people that do not plan on making car sales a living. They just don't plan on it because they're not going to make enough money. They really want that salary because it's safe. They know they're going to at least make that amount. When I'm talking about salary, I'm not just talking about how much you're going to get paid per month. I'm talking about how much you get paid per hour. And don't expect to get paid overtime if you're selling cars. Not in the car business. Retail business, no way. So think about that. If you're going to work for a dealership and you're going to get paid a salary, make sure it is well worth it and it's enough to pay your bills at least until you can find that dream job that you've always been looking for. Now, if we take a mix between the two I just talked about, commission and salary, that's not too bad. I know dealerships that pay a minimum wage, 40-hour a week guarantee. That comes out, at least here where I'm at, about $1,600, $1,700 a month. They're going to pay that, and then they pay you commission. Maybe it's a smaller amount. Maybe it's a 15%, 20% of those small front-end gross profits. And they're okay, too, and I know a couple of dealerships that do that, and the salespeople are actually making a decent living. But it's going to take them 15, 16 cars before they have an opportunity to get in that upper echelon, making $75,000 plus a year as a car salesman. And you got to do it day in, day out, week in, week out, and every single month. You've got to do everything that a professional does. That means follow up, work by appointment. Don't rely on the up bus pulling up and everybody jumping out and ready to buy a car from you. That's just not going to do it. So the last, and maybe one of the best and safest pay plans is based on unit. And most dealerships that pay you by a unit usually pay you a base salary anyway. And again, that's probably your minimum wage. You're going to get paid that. But then you get paid for each unit. And if the dealership is smart, they're not going to pay you unless you sell a certain amount of units. And I would say the minimum should be 8 units. And let me give you a couple examples. If you sell 8 cars, they ought to pay you $200 a car, retro to the first. That's $1,600. And if you're selling, or if your minimum wage is $1,700, well, that's not too bad. $1,700. That's what I think it comes out to $3,300 a month for somebody that sells 8 cars. Not too bad. But what if you're selling 10 cars? Now they ought to pay you $250 or $300 a car retro plus your guarantee. So if it's $300, you sell 10 cars, that's $3,000 plus your $1,600 guarantee. Now you're making $4,600 on 10 cars. That's really not too bad. Now I may be stretching this a little bit. Some dealerships may only pay you $100 for those first 8 cars and $200 for those once you hit 10 retroactive. But the big money comes in at usually around 15 to 16 cars. So you're going to get your $1,600 guarantee, and then at 15 cars, if you're getting paid $3,000 or $300 a car, we're talking $4,500, $55,000. So you're talking over $6,000 plus any kind of bonuses that are in there. Now you're going to make the $75,000 plus. At 20 cars, I know a dealership that pays $500 a car once you hit 20. You do the math. That's good money. And the person that takes that pay plan isn't taking it because they like the guarantee, the safety of that and the security of it, because who's going to work 50, 60 hours a week knowing that they're only guaranteed, $1,600 a month? Nobody. So you really have to think about how you're selling cars. If you're doing this for a while, you know what your average is, and you know what you can do if you have to step it up just a little bit and how much more money you can make by doing that. I want to talk about one more thing. I know a dealership that I talked to where I worked the salesperson's income both ways for 3 months. I gave him a salary plus unit bonuses. And that's what they were getting for years. And I gave him an option of switching over to commission. So for those 3 months, I gave them a pay plan, or what their pay would be based on the original pay plan and strictly commissions. Almost every single time, they would have made more money, and I don't mean just a couple $100. They would have made more money sticking with commission only, but not one of them chose that pay plan. They liked that security of their basic $1,600 and maybe selling 10 cars and being okay making about $3,500 a month. So think about which one works best for you. But don't get scared. If you know you can sell cars, then you're going to make more money on commission. Just be careful. Be careful about how much gross profit is actually available for you to make a decent commission. Maybe in a future episode, we'll go over some other ways to build some gross into that instead of just waiting or dependent upon that $800 to $1,000 markup that the manufacturer is giving the dealers per car. So again, I'm glad I'm back. I'm going to try to stick this out a little bit longer. And if you guys think of anything else that you'd like to talk about, the young lady at the end of this episode is going to tell you how to reach out and find me. So remember, the sky's the limit, and I truly mean that. I'll see you soon.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode. Please rate it and write a review on Apple Podcast. We appreciate your valuable feedback. You can email Terry at 10minutesalestalk@haunt.rr.com. And don't forget to share the show with a friend.